What's going on, guys? Alfie here, and today we're going to be ranking the best Formula 1 liveries of the 2020-21 season. So obviously in F1, the cars are the most important thing, as it's what costs the most money and is what gets the results. But for me, one of the most important features of the car is the livery. It's what you see when you first look at the car, and it's what represents the car. And we've seen a lot of iconic liveries over the years, like the Renault 2006, the McLaren 2012, the 1980s McLaren, and a lot more. But today, I'm going to be focusing on the 2020-21 season, and we're going to be ranking all the liveries from 10th to 1st. So coming in at number 10, the worst one in the grid, in my opinion, has got to be the Haas. So from a design standpoint, I like the style they've gone for it, but what they've done with the style is horrendous. So obviously, Haas is an American team, and for the fact that they've put a Russian flag from top to bottom on this livery is a no-go. Obviously, we know why they've done that, but I don't want to get talking into that topic. So, for me, you know, the design is there, but the thought behind it, the Russian flag, it's not going to gel well, is it, with American fans? I don't believe it's a very good livery, and I think with the fact that Mick Schumacher is also driving for that team, what I believe would be really nice and would make more sense if they had the Russian flag like they do on one side, but then had the German flag exactly the same instead of the Russian flag on the other side. So, you know, it kind of represents two drivers. But I do understand why they've got the Russian flag only. But that is coming in at the 10th spot, and I believe it's the worst livery on the grid. Coming in at number 9, this is going to be a controversial one, like a few of these on this list, but one of these controversial ones is Alfa Tauri. Now, I believe with Alfa Tauri's colour scheme, they could do so much stuff with this livery, and a lot of cool stuff, to be honest. But this one, it's not very good. Obviously, we see the blue at the top, the white at the bottom. It sort of flows throughout the livery, which is kind of nice, but I just think it's very basic. I think it's so similar to last year's livery, and I feel like they could do so much with it and, you know, think outside the box with it, and I just think it's just such a basic F1 livery. I think this is something Codemasters would put into the game to have one of the basic liveries at the start of my team, if I'm being honest. But yeah, at number 9, Alfa Tauri, I think, you know, next season, hopefully, they improve on this a little bit. Coming in at number 8, probably the most controversial on this list, I am saying the Alfa Romeo. Now, I think the colour scheme of this car is brilliant. The red and white is so nice. Obviously, being a McLaren fan, the McLaren 2012 cars were beautiful. The silver red, the red sort of white sort of style is beautiful. But it's just so similar to last season's, and I don't know, I just think it's such a basic design. I don't know how, it just doesn't catch my eye. I think it might not be the design. I think it might just be the fact that it's such basic colours, red and white. I just think it doesn't really attract me, and a livery is sort of like meant to catch the eye when it's going around on the grid, and I just don't think it catches my eye, really. See, I like sort of what they've done with the style of it, the red weaving through the livery, but you know, it just I don't know, it just doesn't stand out to me, really. I don't think it really, like, I go wow when I see it. It's just quite a basic livery again, like the Alfa Tauri before. I just don't think it's a standout for me, and that is why it's being placed at number 8. Now, coming in at number 7, I have the Aston Martin livery. And there was a lot of hype around this car because it was a new team and no one knew what was gonna be expected of this livery. Obviously, people had sort of made mock-ups with the racing green, electric green. Now, after seeing this car being revealed and on the grid, after seeing this car being revealed and on the track, I'm not the biggest fan of it. Now, the first thing I don't like about this car is the big pink strip that goes along the car. Obviously, Aston Martin were planning on having the racing green and the electric green as the two colours on the car, but then a late sponsorship deal with BWT brought that electric green into a pink, and that is why it's pink on the car. Now, I think that's one of the biggest things I don't like about this car. Another thing that's not a very big feature, but it still annoys me, is the fact that the JCB is not colour coordinated. They've literally just put the JCB logo on and haven't, like, edited it out to change the colours to match the car. So that kind of stands out like a sore thumb, and another thing I don't like, but then again, it's very small. However, a big feature that I am a bit annoyed at is the placement of the logos and how big they are. Obviously, Cognizant is the biggest sponsorship deal with Aston Martin, as it is the biggest logo on the car, but I still feel like it could be bigger. As much as I don't like F1 cars being too busy, I still feel like this car could use much more of its blank space, and especially make the Cognizant logo a lot bigger. I feel like there's just so much space around it, and it could easily make bigger and stand out more on the car, and overall give the car a cleaner feel. That goes same to the Crypto logo and BWT logo, who also feature on that side of the car. But overall, I don't like the pink feature on it, and that is why it is down in 7th. Coming in at 6 is the Williams. Now, this car had a lot of hate coming at it, and originally I was also a strong hater of this livery. I just think it was so different to what they had the years before, and I just didn't really like it. I think the pattern on it wasn't very good, and the W logo being integrated into that pattern didn't work that well and was very hidden, and I don't think as a brand it was the best option. Now, after seeing this car on the track, in testing and at the Bahrain Grand Prix, I can say it's a very clean looking car. Now, it's not as clean as some of the cars that are about to come on the list, but I still think it's a very nice car. They've added yellow this year to the car, and I think that is so nice to have that blue and white, but then this standout yellow that splits the two colours on the car. I do think that the less white they've gone on this year also makes it kind of better. We're used to seeing this strong white feature on the car like last year's car and the year before, but I think the inclusion of more blue on this car is working beautifully for it. One thing I would do to improve this car is maybe add a few more logos. Obviously, we were talking about before how the Aston Martin could use more logos, and I think it's the same with this Williams. I think what would make this car even better and probably higher on the list, in my opinion, is if they added some logos. Now, I don't know if that was due to the livery design or is due to sponsorship deals, but I still think there could be a nice big logo there on the side. But I do overall like the Williams, and that is why it is up at 6th. Now we are coming into the top 5, and one that you're probably expecting to be at the back of this top 5 is the Mercedes. Now, everyone was talking about this livery. Is it going to be grey? Is it going to be black? And we did get the black, but it did not meet our expectations. Now, the black, it's a nice feature. It's very similar to last year's car, and last year's car was very nice. So, you know, you think it's going to be nice as well. But they've added a few features, and it hasn't gone to plan. Now, one of the biggest ones, I just want to get this off my chest, is the AMG. What is going on there? Now, whose idea was it to slap a montage of AMGs at the back? I think last year's collage of the Mercedes, like, arrows worked perfectly because it was minimalistic, but it was still, you could still see it was there. But I think with the AMGs, it's just, it's just, like, in your face. It's like, all right, I want to be able to see the rest of the car, not these bright AMGs that are going on at the back. Also, it doesn't help that they've also got like a gradient of white coming onto the car from the back. It also just it just doesn't work well with the rest of the car and makes the AMG stand out even more, which is just not good. But Mercedes haven't had a great year this year with the car, and that is why it's down at 5th. Coming in at number 4, one I personally like, unlike a lot of people out there, it's the Ferrari. Now, we don't really see much change from the Ferrari year by year, but again, it's a strong livery, and as they say, if it's not broken, don't fix it. What I like about Ferrari is they don't just keep it the same every year, they keep it to the same fundamentals, but they add to it. So this year, they've added the green, which I think, you know, I would prefer to see more white on the car, and I feel like this is the perfect opportunity with the Mission Winnow logo to make it white and keep that sort of white and red colour scheme that they've had for many years. I feel like that would have been good, but, you know, the green, it's nice. Now, I think green and red, they're nice colours. They contrast each other very well, and I feel like that is very nice. And I think, yeah, people don't like it, but it's there, and I think we're going to have to accept that. But I do in fact like it. Another feature I really love about this car is the darker red gradient that comes similar to the Mercedes from the back of the car. Now, I feel like it's a very nice addition to the car. It doesn't keep it that sort of flat red colour throughout. It gives it a bit of depth. I feel like if they were to improve on that, they would bring it a bit more onto the car. It's a very sharp gradient, so it's very red. And then all of a sudden, it just slaps to this dark red, which I feel like is a bit harsh. And I feel like they could probably fade it in a bit more. But overall, a very clean looking car, and that is why it is up at 4th. Now, coming into the top 3, we have got some of the nicest liveries on the track, and they speak for themselves, really. And I think a lot of people would agree with me and say they are also very clean. Now, coming in at number 3, the McLaren. Like a lot of other people, I was annoyed when this car was revealed, as there was literal no changes. There was all those memes like spot the difference, because there was no differences. There was a few mechanical differences with the floor of the car, but that was nothing to do with the livery. Now, I feel like originally I was annoyed because I was expecting big things going to Mercedes. Maybe there was a bit more grey to come into the car, and I feel like grey and orange is such a nice colour combo, and I would love to see it on the McLaren. However, I do think now, after having some time to reflect on it, that this car, it's not broken, so we don't need to fix it. I feel like it's a beautiful looking car. The orange and blue, obviously, McLaren. It's some historic colours for the team, and I think it works perfectly. Also, the actual design of the livery with the bottom being blue, it's very similar to like the Vodafone era with the Vodafone symbol at the bottom. Obviously, this year we've got the Velo logo, and I think that runs beautifully along the bottom of the car. Also, we have the inclusion of the rainbow going along the back in the blue sort of section of the car. I also think that's very nice. Obviously, we saw it coming last year, and it stayed this year. I think it's very nice, and I think, you know, it's a nice little addition to the car. However, I do think this car is very safe, and I feel like they have played their cards close to their chest. But then again, it's in the name, MCL35M. It's not an MCL36, which would obviously bring big changes. Hopefully next year, when we see the MCL35-6, we might see grey and orange. You know, I would love to see that. You know, as much as I do like the orange and blue historic colours, I would love to see an orange and grey colour scheme. Now coming in at number 2, a car that stays basically the same every single year, but it does the job, and it's a beautiful livery. The Red Bull. Now, I'm a very big fan of this livery because it's beautiful. The colours, the navy blue, the bright orange, yellow sort of colour, and the red, they all work perfectly. I think the Red Bull logo has a lot to play with it. Obviously, we have like the yellow ball and the 2 balls going into it. I think that is a livery that they could probably experiment with more, and I feel like they could maybe change the placement of it on the cars. Now, I think it will be a big talking point this year, and we'll see it a lot as it's one of the cars to tackle Mercedes' dominance. We've seen in Bahrain, Max Verstappen inches away from Hamilton, and it's what we want to see. So, like the performance of this car, the livery is outstanding. Now, the best livery on the grid. You all know what car it is. We haven't mentioned it yet, and you were probably expecting it. It is the Alpine. Now, it's a new team, obviously formerly known as Renault, who had, you know, Renault's liveries were all right. The yellow and black, you know, we go back to the Lotus days with the gold and black. They were all right liveries, but this livery, I'm telling you, it's amazing. Obviously, for testing, we saw the black, red, and blue. But for the actual season, we have now got a mainly blue, red, and white livery. Now, I've seen people compare this to a Pepsi can. And you know what? I don't care because Pepsi cans are very nice looking. But this Alpine livery, it stands out among the rest. Blue is the perfect colour. It's like a royal blue and it stands out very nice. Now, I also like what they've done with the Alpine logo at the back, how it is integrated into the red and black feature at the back. I think that's beautiful, and I think that's very nice how they've stood that out. I also think the logo placement on this car is brilliant, and I think, you know, they've got a lot of logos on there. They've got obviously the Alpine logo running across the middle, which is quite a thin logo, but they've got it the right size so it fits in the car and fits between obviously the back portion of the car, which is the big Alpine logo, and the main body of the car. And I think they've worked that in beautifully. I also think the map-free logo on the side, the red and white, it works again well with the car, and the placement is great. I also think with the front wing and the back wing, I like how the Alpine runs across the side of the wings and obviously on the back wing across the top. I think, again, you know, that's the name of the car. You want it out there, and I think that's, again, and I think they're just good little additions that add to the overall clean look of the car. But that is going to be it for my 2020-21 livery rankings. I'd also like to know your guys' top 10 liveries of this season, so drop them down below in the comments too. Also, if you've got any video suggestions or topics you'd love me to cover, drop them down in the description. I'll be in the description reading them, and I'm always looking for ideas. So I hope you guys liked my first video on the channel, and I'll see you next Monday. See you guys.